Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going over the top 5 frequently asked questions that I get from people who are looking to move to Maryland. And let's get started right now. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we talk about all things living here in the great state of Maryland. So if that's the kind of information you're looking for, you are definitely in the right spot. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you are made aware of the new videos that we do each and every week here on the channel. And if you are thinking about moving to Maryland, if you're thinking about purchasing a home here in the state of Maryland and wondering if that's the right move and decision for you and your family, we absolutely love answering any questions that we can in order to help out with that decision making process for you and your family. However you feel comfortable reaching out, whether that's by phone, email, or text, days, nights, and weekends, we've got your back when moving here to the great state of Maryland. All right, number 1 is going to be, how bad is Baltimore really? And I do get this one a lot, so I definitely wanted to include it on the list. And as I've mentioned in a lot of previous videos, I'm not from here. Originally, I was born and raised in Southern California. I met my wife in college, and she grew up here in the greater Baltimore, Howard County area. So that's where we've been here for the last 7 years. So I've been kind of learning and kind of figuring this stuff out as I go as well. So definitely in the early stages, what I did is I had my real estate license in California, transferred it here to Maryland, and kind of just tried my best to hit the ground running here, showing homes and working real estate with buyers and sellers here in the state of Maryland. So definitely in the beginning, I went to a few spots that I should not have. So I kind of figured out that way a little bit. But the best way that I can, I guess the best recommendations that I can give to people is just talking to locals, talking to people who you're working with, that you meet here once you get here, and asking them about do you plan on spending a lot of time in Baltimore? What spots do you want to avoid? What spots are okay? And that was kind of the way, along with me just kind of figuring it out on my own, was kind of the best way to go about doing that. So I don't necessarily recommend you just kind of going in. So there's a lot of West Baltimore that you definitely want to just be careful with. And then, kind of north, east too. So, but what I will say is that I personally have not had any, terrible experiences. So especially going down with the family, going out with my wife into parts like Inner Harbor, Fed Hill, Fells Point, Canton. Those are spots that have always been great. There's a lot of entertainment, a lot of fun times down there. So the aquarium is awesome in the Inner Harbor. You've also got, M&T Stadium. You've got the Orioles play there at Camden Yards. So there's a lot of fun stuff where I've always personally felt safe. But you definitely want to ask around and just kind of feel that out for yourself as well. I will say Fed Hill is definitely, it's kind of the most accessible off of 95 and 395, so it's the easiest to get to. That is kind of a little more the younger crowd, so you're going to see more of your young professionals, probably in your mid to upper 20s there. And then as you get through the Inner Harbor, that's going to have a lot of your restaurants and kind of entertainment stuff there, kind of along that Inner Harbor. And then as you get into Fells Point and Canton, this is going to be a little more of your young professionals, but more into your 30s, mid to upper 30s. A lot of people, you love getting out, walking their dogs. There's a ton of people, a ton of young folks in these areas, and it really is a nice spot. So they do tend to, once the first kid or two comes, that you usually kind of start coming out to the suburbs. So that's kind of that normal transition. But those spots, it's tough to go wrong in those areas. So if you're looking for a spot to go into the city where you want to hang out, there's tons of eateries, tons of really cool restaurants and hangouts, and a few cool dive bars down there. So those are spots that I would recommend to check out. And then outside of that, just doing your best to ask around and talk to people and kind of see what you can figure out from people that you know and trust, that maybe you're working with or that you know here in the area. All right, number 2 is, how bad is the traffic? So this is something, for me, I always think about it as kind of perspective, where you're coming from and how you're relating it to that. So for me, coming from LA, I guess I don't know, I guess it couldn't really get much worse, right? So for me, it's been a pleasant surprise about how much of a non-issue it's been. But I'm also in Central Maryland, so I'm in Howard County. And so when you look at Howard County, a lot of Anne Arundel County, North PG County, that's kind of Central Maryland. The traffic's really not that bad. So you've got 29, you've got 95, 97, 295. And those are all running north-south. And then you've got 100, you've got 32, and for the most part, there's not a ton of traffic in those areas. Now, what I will say is kind of asking around and determining for yourself, are you going to be utilizing and needing to use the beltways for work commutes or for whatever kind of driving or commuting you're going to be doing, because the beltways are going to be a different story. So you've got 495, which is which is DC's beltway. So 495 is DC's beltway. That's got a lot of traffic. I avoid it at all costs. So that's got, I don't know, it reminds me a little bit of LA from time to time whenever I'm down there. So I definitely try to avoid that. And then up north in Baltimore, you've got 695. So that's Baltimore's beltway. It circles the city. And it's not as bad, but it definitely has its bottlenecks. So you want to be prepared for traffic on both of those beltways. But I will say 495 in greater DC, the DMV there, is definitely going to be worse than 695. So, but if you're in between, so I know a lot of folks that we talk to are coming here for to work at Fort Meade, somewhere in Central Maryland, maybe government contracting. The traffic's not that bad, but if you do get north or south to either of those beltways, that's something you want to be a little more prepared for. There is going to be a lot more stop and go and a lot more of your traditional traffic. All right, number 3 is, what do you like to do for fun, and what is there to do for fun, right? So, and this is a big one. So for me, especially coming out when I'm filming this video now, we're heading into late April. So springtime is kind of revving up, and for us, it's always like getting outdoors, getting outside, being active. That's at the top of our list as far as what we like to do. So Maryland is awesome with all its opportunities to hike, get outdoors. The state parks here are awesome. So for us in Howard County, we've got Patapsco State Park to the north, Patuxent State Park to the south. So that's going to be kind of at your Howard County, Montgomery County line. And then Patapsco State Park kind of separates Howard County from Baltimore County, and then also Howard County from Carroll County as you move west. So tons of opportunity to get outdoors, hike, the trails. There's just so many of them throughout Central Maryland. And I know most of you are probably coming to this area in general, for all the work and all the government contracts and all there is here in this area. So I would start there, looking into that. It's just something that we love to do as much as we can. Almost every other weekend, we're trying to get out and just kind of be outside and be in nature with all the woods, and especially here in the springtime, it's just so much fun. So there's some cool rivers and some cool opportunities to be around water as well. So the other thing that we like to do is each summer we love to get out to the beach. So you got Ocean City, you've got some beaches in Delaware too. So only about 2.5, 3 hours depending on traffic. So you do have to deal with the Bay Bridge. But if you catch that at a little bit of an off time, the traffic's not too bad. The drive across the Eastern Shore is absolutely beautiful with all the farmland and all the little, the shops and all this kind of stuff that the drive has to offer. So that's always really fun. And then that's heading east, of course. Heading west, you've got an area called Deep Creek. So this is an area that we love too. And it's kind of a year-round spot. So it's really a spot where you can go, skiing and snowboarding in the winter, and then in the summertime, it's got a very large lake where you can get out there and do wakeboarding and water skiing and just kind of, all of that scene too. So they've got a ton of great rentals. It's very affordable. They've got a lot of huge, cabins where we've done it in the past. We've gone out with, groups of friends and stuff. And when you divide that stuff by, 6, 8, 10 people, it becomes very, very affordable. So that's a spot that we love to go to. It's called Deep Creek in Western Maryland. It's Garrett County, as far west as you can get, pretty much surrounded by Pennsylvania and West Virginia. So it's beautiful country out there. So that's something I would definitely check out as well. And then my wife and I love hitting up a concert each summer too. So a couple spots that we really like is Merriweather Post Pavilion, which is right in Columbia, kind of the heart of Howard County. So for us, it's only 10 to 15 minutes away because we're just north of Columbia in Ellicott City. And we get a lot of good, solid, big names that come through here. So that's a spot that we absolutely love to check out. So if you go to their website, you can see who's coming and who's going to be playing here all year long. And then Maryland Live Casino also has people coming through for concerts. And then they also got a lot of comedians that come through. So that's just kind of a fun entertainment spot that we like to check out. And that's in Hanover. Hanover has a Howard County part. It's got an Anne Arundel County part. So it's kind of, split between those two counties. But it is in the Anne Arundel County side, but it's still very close. So for us in Ellicott City, that's about 15 to 20 minutes tops. So if you're in that general area, Fort Meade, within 20, 30 minutes, you're going to be within a half an hour to kind of either of those two spots. So those are areas that I would check out as well. And then we love the breweries in Maryland. So there's a lot of cool little local breweries. Heavy Seas is one of our favorite in Baltimore County. And then you've got the Guinness Factory, which is fairly new, probably in the last 5 or 6 years, right in like Elk Ridge on the Howard County, Baltimore County line. So they've got really cool outdoor spots, really good food. And so that's just a really fun environment too, to go and hang out and enjoy some good food and a few drinks. Number 4 is, why is everything so expensive in Maryland, especially housing? So this is something that I ask myself all the time as well. It's just kind of crazy to see everything keep going up and up and up. And I think the main reason for that, at least in my estimation, is just given our unique situation of being a dual metro area. So, I mean, there's definitely, a few of them around the country, but we're going to be one of those top areas where you've got, you got DC, and then just 40 miles north, you've got Baltimore, and everywhere in between, it's pretty dense when it comes to population. So you've got a lot of work opportunities. You've got a very, very solid economy, really on the back of government work, government contracting work. So you've got very steady work and pretty well paying jobs here in the area. And that's just a huge contributing factor to our housing costs and our overall cost of living here in Maryland. So we do have a great economy. If you are looking for work, there is no shortage of opportunities here in the Maryland and DMV area. So it's definitely a huge plus that we have, but it is going to be expensive. That is going to come with a price tag. So that's something to definitely be prepared for and to be aware of if you're moving here to the Maryland area. Number 5 is, how bad are the winters and what can we expect when it comes to that? So Maryland's very unique when it comes to weather. I don't know, I've never been in a place quite like it. It's all over the map. When you talk to anyone here from Maryland, it's just known across the board that Maryland doesn't know how to make up its mind when it comes to weather. So it's pretty mild overall. That's going to be my general answer. And then I will say from there, it's something that you just kind of have to roll with the punches. So we do get all 4 seasons, which I love. Coming from Southern California, it was beautiful, but it was very predictable. So to come here and to have, all the trees, and to have a real fall, and then your springs, and winters, the first couple snows are fun or whatever. But other than that, I mean, it's just kind of is what it is. But when it comes to winters, when we first moved here, of course, we were here 7 years ago. We moved here in June. And then when we just moved into our first house in January, we got a 3.5-foot snowstorm. And we haven't had one that bad since. So, and it's been 7 years. So it's something that can kind of come at any time, but it's pretty unpredictable. For the most part, on any given winter, we're getting probably a couple of, 4 to 8 inch snowstorms. And then other than that, a lot of it might, stick for, 4, 6 hours, one day. And then the temperatures just don't stay cold enough, long enough for that snow to stick around. So winters are fairly mild. It really doesn't start getting really cold, and you don't really start seeing snow until January, February. November and December are really, fairly mild. So, but all in all, the winters aren't too bad. It could be much worse. My wife and I met in Ohio, going to college out there, and Maryland's a breeze compared to that. So definitely no complaints when it comes to winter. It's kind of fun to have, and experience all the seasons. But it is something to be prepared for too. It does get cold. In Maryland, we really deal with more ice than snow. I mean, it's kind of 50-50. A lot of the snow days that the schools get are more related to ice, because a lot of times our temperatures will hover around, 30, high 20s. So a lot of our days times in winter don't really get below freezing. But if you've got rain all day and then the night comes and it just kind of freezes, all that rain, and that's when, the schools just don't take any chances. So we deal with that a fair bit as well, more so than just getting pounded with snow. So when it comes to winters, that's kind of, been my experience here the last 7 years. All right, everyone, thanks so much for watching. I hope this helped you out. If you ever have any questions or need anything at all, please feel free to reach out, and we will see you with the next video.